Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. This is your KREM 2 News Recap, where we take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in the Inland Northwest this past week.
It's serious, and I was very concerned.
Spokane City Council members say they first heard of the suspected fraud late Friday night and into the weekend. A former employee of the Guardians Foundation, the nonprofit operating the Trent shelter, may have stolen between $100,000 and $1 million, depositing it into their personal bank account.
It's concerning, and it's more concerning because the people that are stuck in the middle of this again are people that need those resources and need that shelter.
Council members Karen Stratton and Lori Kinnear sent out a press release this afternoon calling for a criminal investigation.
The community needs more information, but certainly the council does. And if this is indeed embezzlement, then we need a police investigation, not just a forensic audit.
The big question now is how the employee allegedly stole public funds. Guardians Foundation CEO Mike Shaw says they're fully cooperating with police.
We're the ones that reported it. We're the ones that called the police first. We're the ones that notified. We're the ones that made it very clear that I have a situation here that needs to be resolved.
Shaw says the suspected embezzlement was discovered during an annual internal audit, which started back in December. He wouldn't name the former employee or confirm how much money was stolen, but called it a significant amount.
It's been very difficult. I think betrayal is one of the worst things that can happen to people.
City council members still have a lot of unanswered questions.
We need to make sure that that money is being spent correctly and legally.
Well, the Spokane Police Department just told me this afternoon they have opened an investigation into the Guardians Foundation. SPD assigned a detective today to look into the allegations of theft and embezzlement within the organization. That means city council members who were calling for a criminal investigation got what they wanted.
Details surrounding the suspected fraud within the Guardians Foundation continue to develop. We do know right now the mayor's office ordered an internal audit, which is currently underway. And it's because the city awarded millions of taxpayer dollars to the Guardians to operate shelters in the city. But who are the Guardians? The organization became a tax-exempt nonprofit in 2011. Its CEO, Mike Shaw, founded the organization with the intent to help veterans. The Guardians Foundation website says it maintains multiple facilities that house at-risk veterans and their families in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, and Utah. In May 2020, the Guardians Foundation took over operations at the Cannon Street Center in Spokane. Then, in September last year, the city of Spokane awarded the Guardians a $1.85 million contract to operate the Cannon Street Center as a year-round shelter. In August this year, City Council approved a $2.4 million agreement with the Guardians to run the new Trent Avenue shelter. We searched the nonprofit's status with the Washington Secretary of State's office. It lists their business status as delinquent. And in a search on GuideStar, a website that monitors nonprofits, it says the organization's tax exemption status was automatically revoked for failure to file required tax forms for 3 consecutive years. Still, the Guardians remain the operator for the city's Cannon Street and Trent Avenue shelters.
Now, we still do not have a police report of the suspected fraud. We also don't know who the suspected former employee is or how much money was stolen. So today we pressed the city, the mayor's office, and the Guardian's CEO for more information, but at this time they have not given any more details. Meantime, we do know a forensic audit is currently underway and it's expected to conclude by October 31st.
Reviewing the transactions of one former Guardians employee, Mike Shaw says nothing stuck out.
The numbers were so low that, allocation for gas or an allocation for staples for some ink.
But by the end of the yearly internal audit, he says numbers weren't adding up.
And lo and behold, bam, that $38 ain't $38. The $3,800 wire transfer was changed to $38.
Shaw says a series of purchases revealed $118,000 was missing, and all evidence pointed to one employee.
We cautiously moved into a deep investigation where we scanned every transaction that she had her fingers and pulse on. We were able to compile a number of spreadsheets that are clear and concise, that clearly show what we know as of to date, what the dollar loss is from our accounts that were wired into this person's account.
After bringing in additional bookkeeping resources to assist in this year's audit, Shaw says the missing money was a clear pattern.
If she was given another week or two, she would have continued to do it. The pattern was there.
Shaw says the former employee submitted a 4-page written confession on August 11th, saying the alleged fraud began in late 2019. Shaw says his team had enough evidence to notify authorities and bring in attorneys. At the end of September, he called Crime Check to report a theft, but never filed an official police report.
I felt I did my part, right? In the little bit of time I had in my life, right, I did my part. And if people wanted to take what I did seriously, they would take it seriously and get back with me.
Creme 2 obtained the initial call between Crime Check and Mike Shaw that happened on September 29th. Creme 2 also obtained the Crime Check follow-up call to Mike Shaw's voicemail on September 30th. He says he never received it. But now, with the city audit underway, Spokane Police launched its own investigation. Shaw says the Guardians Foundation receives money from its city contracts and private donations, so it's unclear where the missing money initially came from. He says his team is willing to provide a summary by Monday on how the alleged fraud is impacting operations. According to Shaw, in early spring of this year, the Guardian's internal audit team found anomalies in its transaction reports. Upon investigating the anomalies, evidence of potential fraud pointed to one employee. Shaw says by May, internal investigators felt they had enough information to begin alerting authorities and attorneys, but he didn't take immediate action.
I knew that what I had was there for my time in choosing.
Months go by. Then August 11th, Shaw got a 4-page written confession from the suspected employee. And in that same month, City Council approved a $6.5 million contract to the Guardians Foundation to open the Trent shelter, which began operating September 6th.
We had to gear up a huge employment staffing increase, which was successful, get the building successfully started up, and monitor the operations for the first week or so to make sure that we're in a rhythm that makes sense for everybody.
To explain why Shaw waited to notify officials, he says his top priority was getting the shelter up and running, and he would deal with his employee later.
I have her. I got her number. The most important thing is getting these people off the streets.
Shaw says the suspected employee's final day was September 23rd, nearly a full month after they wrote out their confession to the alleged crimes.
That's when everyone in the whole building turned and looked at Mike Shaw and said, "When you calling Crime Check?"
As revealed in Crime Check calls Creme 2 obtained in a records request, Shaw sounded the alarm September 29th, 4 months since claiming what he calls solid evidence of potential fraud.
Crime Check, what are you reporting? Theft. From a home, a business, a vehicle? Business.
Nearly 2 weeks later in October, City Council members and the mayor's office informed the public about the alleged fraud. So where does the foundation, the city, and Spokane Police go from here? Well, for the Guardians, Shaw says next steps are compiling a summary of funds where the money was taken from. For the city, it's continuing with its audit. And for SPD, detectives are actively investigating the organization.
This is surveillance video of a burglary taking place at A&L Transmission Service.
I like to take care of my customers, and they're not helping.
Owner Don Barden says this is becoming more common at his shop.
Coming in here, breaking windows, drilling gas tanks, stolen cars. Yeah, we had a car stolen last week. We had a car stolen 4 months ago. Found that vehicle over at the camp. I found it.
Barden says he has made several police reports, which SPD has confirmed. SPD confirms that the individual in the surveillance has been linked back to the camp. WSDOT says that 3 security guards will patrol the area 24/7, and they'll pay security service Northwest $30,000 a month. It's a 6-month contract. The security guards will not be armed and will work with the Spokane Police already patrolling the area. There's also now a fence surrounding the camp. a curfew, and new rules for who is allowed to go inside the camp. Barden says he does not feel like these changes benefit the surrounding area.
No, they're wasting their time. Put a fence up, so what? They can still get out. Put the barrier around so you can't see in it? No. What's that going to do? It's not going to do anything.
And neighbors share similar concerns.
I have seen numerous citizens from down on that end of the corner that has came by here and disrespected my belongings, my space.
Stacy says since the fencing, things have gotten worse, and she doesn't believe adding security will help either.
I do believe that it is going to protect them way more than it is going to protect me as a citizen on the outs. I can't go to a security guard and say, hey, they're destroying my property. They're not going to do anything to protect my property.
The judge said he decided to give Nathan Nash the high end of the sentencing range, partly because he used his position of authority and trust as a police officer to take advantage of the two victims. In court, one of the victims read her impact statement to the judge. She told me she agreed to being filmed on camera because this was a step that she wanted to take in moving forward.
In August, a jury found former Spokane police officer Nathan Nash guilty of second and third-degree rape involving two women. He committed the crimes while on duty. In his sentencing, Nash stood before the judge maintaining his innocence.
My wife and two children are my whole world, and I would never do anything to jeopardize my ability to come home to them every day.
One of the women Nash took advantage of told the judge how she looks back on that day.
I found solace in Mr. Nash helping me in such a dire time of need when I felt like I had no one. And now to say that or even think that's how I felt towards you is absolute poison in my mouth.
Normally, CREM 2 does not identify victims of sexual assault. But today, Tatiana agreed to be filmed and publish her name because she told me it was a way for her to begin to move forward.
There's a part of me that I won't be able to get back because you stole it from me. But starting today, right now, I am rising out of the ashes and becoming a survivor and taking back my life.
Nash does plan to file an appeal on this case, and he has 30 days to do so. Meantime, he is expected back in court for the official misconduct charge associated with this case. Trial is expected to start in December.
Today, law enforcement blocked off this road to investigate the crime scene after a standoff and shooting overnight.
I heard just gunshots, sirens.
Neighbor Mahaly Finley says the terrifying scene escalated in Stevens County. The situation started during the day in North Spokane County. According to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, a man reported that an armed suspect pointed a pistol at his head and then threatened to kill him. According to the victim, the suspect fired a shot but did not hit him. The suspect then drove away and ended up in Stevens County. Neighbors reported the suspect firing shots in a Stevens County neighborhood and trying to get away from law enforcement.
A little bit of shock. Typically, we don't really have standoffs and SWAT teams out in our area, so it was just a whole different experience.
Drone footage found the suspect hiding in a wooded area. Then around 10 p.m., two SWAT team members shot the armed suspect who was wearing body armor. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
I mostly just feel sad for my community, and it's unfortunate that anybody has to experience loss, and that was someone's family member, so I know it's tragic.
In 2018, we learned Bloomsday founder Don Cardong would retire after the race in 2019. He announced John Neal would take over the beloved Spokane tradition. Neal started as an intern back in 1995 and worked his way up to board president until his promotion to the top job.
We've taken the race very seriously and made sure that it shined the way that it should to honor Don Cardong.
For more than 45 years, the race became an annual tradition in the Inland Northwest. At its height in the 90s, more than 60,000 people registered for the race. It held steady at about 45,000 participants until 2019, when 38,000 people registered. Then, in Neal's first year on the job, the pandemic hit. forcing the race to go virtual, a way to keep the spirit of the race alive. But participation hit a record low since the early 80s. 21,000 people participated, and numbers since have struggled to bounce back. Bloomsday did not get into the specifics of the split. The Lilac Bloomsday Association president, Dory Whitford, said in a statement, "We have been busy preparing for Bloomsday 2023. John Neal has chosen to step away from our organization. Bloomsday and its affiliated events have become a big job. Because of this opportunity, we will now also be looking at ways to possibly restructure some of our jobs." John Neal declined a TV interview, but said in a statement, "It is with great sadness that I have stepped away from Bloomsday." He went on to explain, "I was informed very recently that I would not continue in the role of Bloomsday race director, but instead fill some other unspecified job with fewer responsibilities." This unexpected news, accompanied by the resignation of 2 key board members, including our chief legal counsel, were significant factors leading to my departure this past Tuesday morning.
Take a close look at this woman. She looks like any other customer walking into consigned furniture and jewelry.
This is the largest furniture consignment store in the country. It's over 60,000 square feet.
But owner Eric Rock says she definitely overstayed her welcome.
She was probably hidden in the store for about 3 hours. We had a cleaning crew here last night, and she snuck out right then. We do have motion detectors. We have a really incredible security system. Cops were here just a few minutes after she walked out the door.
By then, Liberty Lake police say the woman grabbed approximately $300,000 worth of diamonds, gold, and other fine jewelry.
These were basically the cases that got hit. We had necklaces, bracelets, rings. This took years to build this. And it really does feel like a gut punch when someone comes in and takes advantage.
Rock doesn't own much of the jewelry on display. People bring it in, his store sells it, and they share the profit. Clients started calling this afternoon, but Rock insists they don't have to worry.
We're insured. We're going to make it right. We'll go the distance no matter what.
Rock is hoping someone will recognize the thief who used her sleeve to open the door, apparently trying not to leave any fingerprints.
I don't know the person, but if I saw that picture, I feel like, and I knew her, I would know in a second that was her.
While the heist has created a lot of headaches, Rock says the most important thing is that his employees are safe.
The bottom line is no one got hurt. It could have been a lot worse.
Kootenai County Land Company is looking to build more homes and commercialize this field of land just north of I-90 and south of West Hanley. In the master plan, at least 1,000 acres would be converted into business spaces, parks, 2 schools, and 4,500 living units. But before developers and the city move any further, they want to hear from the community.
We really pride ourselves on not only keeping business local, but also in constantly reinvesting back in our community.
According to Kootenai County Land, the project is designed with walkability, convenience of location, and access to recreational opportunities in mind.
Now, as we develop our communities, we're very focused on collecting input proactively from the community and then taking that feedback and incorporating it into our designs.
Neighbors say they're in favor of change.
The west side of our school district is really full right now. So if you think about Skyway Elementary and Woodland Middle School, both of those are over capacity. And so having an access to an elementary school and a middle school are critical for the school district and the future moving forward.
While others with a fear of potential traffic impacts, not so much.
We have moose coming to our fence, right up to our fence. It's all very enjoyable, and all that will disappear. And I can imagine that eventually much of what we're enjoying today will disappear.
Before the hearing, we spoke with neighbors who have this field of land right in their backyards. One told me he thinks it's a terrible idea and Coeur d'Alene doesn't have enough jobs for 4,000 more property owners. Another neighbor was more understanding of the proposed project, especially as more people continue to move to North Idaho.
It's always been our dream, and it's finally here. I'm Debbie Jeffrey, and I'm the Executive Director of Kootenai Humane Society. I've been with Humane Society for 25 years. It's going to be a gorgeous building. As you can see, it's a very functional building. This is one of our pride and joys. This is our community room. This is going to be our animal control room. If you remember our current animal control room, it has 5 kennels along the wall and then 1 in the corner. We'll have 18 here. No dogs will have to be moved outside anymore. This is going to be the surgical room. So we'll have 2 surgical tables in here. Over on this wall, we'll have the recovery kennels. On this wall, from here clear over, we'll have the cat, what they call the cat condos. We have 2 rooms that are going to be meet and greets for cats. And then we have three rooms that are going to be catios. And what everybody likes about here so far is everything is so bright and open, a lot of windows. Now we're in the dog area. And this is going to be so much different. We'll have rows of kennels on both sides. We put the garage doors in, so then when the weather's nice, we can open the garage doors. These are dog runs or whatever you want to call them, or they can come out here and sit and interact with a potential adopter. When the weather's bad, we'll have 2 indoor meet and greets. And this is going to be, you could call it sick or isolation. This is going to be where the sick dogs go. We didn't build the Taj Mahal with all the fancy stuff. We built practical and what we need. It's just going to be great. We can hardly wait. And we're getting close.
Get everything ready.
It's a busy morning for the Bremners with less than an hour before school starts.
Is everything in there?
Almost ready.
Except for I gotta take this paper out because I already had it yesterday.
Slight chaos in the apartment is pretty normal for Mason and McKinley's morning routine.
They are twins. They're 6, almost 7, and they just started 1st grade.
And their routine is even more chaotic this school year.
Tell some of the other stories.
We get up 7 o'clock. I get them fed. Send him upstairs around 8:30.
Parents in the apartment complex have been scrambling to find their kids rides to school after Central Valley School District canceled their bus route.
Some of us were notified September 4th through via email. Some parents were not. And school started September 8th.
CVSD says they live within the 1-mile straight line walking radius of Green Acres Elementary. Once you add the twists and turns of the streets, it comes out to a 1.3-mile walk.
They're 6, and there's no way. I don't even let them outside in our grass area to play by themselves, let alone walk to school by themselves.
Plus, Brandy says the walk is dangerous.
We live right off Sprague. The sidewalks are tiny.
The alternative is walking the Centennial Trail.
I've walked it a few times with them, and there's been, drug paraphernalia, pipes, needles.
CVSD says they are aware of the situation and are looking into solutions. They're hiring a crossing guard to be stationed at Sprague and Long Street and have asked the city of Spokane Valley to add a crosswalk there. They're also considering having a staff member lead a walking bus to get the students to and from school every day. And CVSD says they are working to add a bus route to and from the complex after other elementary routes are finished.
I'm sure you can.
For now, Brandy has a neighbor who gives a ride to school, but when that falls through, it just adds to the chaos.
So I had to, hurry and within an hour, find another ride for him. And it's just, it's been a nightmare.
The district is working to have one of their solutions up and running by this fall.
The Creme Cares Treats to Troops campaign needs you. Many of our Fairchild service members will be deployed this holiday season, and Creme 2 is leading the effort to make sure we send a little bit of the inland Northwest to our military men and women around the world.
Thank you, Treats to Troops, for sending love downrange. We really appreciate it. It makes a world of difference for us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Papetti. Creme Cares Treats to Troops is happening right now, all this month. Creme 2 and our partners at Washington Trust Bank are collecting treats for Fairchild folks who won't be able to spend time with their families coming this holiday season. Right now through October 31st, you can go to any area Washington Trust Bank location and drop off a treat. Everything donated will be brought to Fairchild Air Force Base, where Creme 2 and volunteers with Fairchild Spouses Club will pack up the boxes. But to get those boxes full, we need those donations. So of course the question is, what to give? And we've made it so easy with the top 10 list, which is posted right now on creme.com. You can donate anything from beef jerky to small bottles of hot sauce to powdered drink mixes and lots of homemade cards and notes. Creme Cares Treats to Troops. If you want more information, just text the word treats to our text line, 509-448-2000. We'll send a link with all the info right to your phone.
A week ago, about 10 o'clock, we walk across this way a couple times a week and we saw it out there.
Well, we just walked by it, it's kind of strange.
It looks like it doesn't, I don't know. It looks like it's been there, like.
We noticed a bike right over on top of that pillar.
It looks like it's been, oh my gosh, I can't even talk.
Well, it's a point of curiosity of how it got there.
We're just noticing that there might be some wires helping hold it up.
It looks to me like either somebody packed a ladder out there and climbed up there with it, or they devised some other method of getting it up there. That's what I think.
We were just having this conversation about where it came from.
Brings on all kinds of questions.
I think there had to be more than one person, no doubt. Probably 2 or 3.
Just figured, someone must have worked really hard to climb up there and stick this bike on there and tie it down good. They wanted to make other people have some fun or entertainment, so.
Yeah. Somebody's got a lot of time on their hands.
I don't know. I really don't know. It looks like, what I was trying to say is it looks like it's art, but I don't know.
Somebody was very clever.
What do you think should happen?
Nothing. Leave it alone. See what happens.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's an exciting day here at Creme 2. We got the books in for the Creme Cares Big Book Giveaway. Right now, just piles of boxes and lots of titles. We got lots of school-age children books. Really elementary school books is what we're focusing on, but they were so popular last year, a few of the board books for the pre-K. We got those in, and then you can see the progression as they get a little bit thicker. Here's a graphic novel that came in all the way up to chapter books. So they're all in for the Big Book Giveaway, which is coming up October 20th. We're just a little over a week away, and we are so excited. We order from Scholastic. Over 1,000 books came here to Creme 2. We'll be sorting them out over the next couple of days. We actually have some kids coming in to help us sort and talk about the books and see what they have to say about them. And then next week on Thursday, we'll be out at the fairgrounds starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, handing out books and treats from our friends at Nom Nom. And I'll give you a hint. Nom Nom is bringing snacks that kids like while they're reading a book, but they're bringing a special treat as well, which I can't give specific details about, only that you'll definitely want to be there. So if you like books and you like snacks, you'll like the Creme Cares Big Book Giveaway. Coming up in just over a week. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you for joining us here on Creme 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories of the past week in Spokane and the rest of the Inland Northwest. For the most up-to-date news throughout the weekend, you can watch our very latest newscast right here on Creme 2 Plus. Just look for them in the bottom navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.